Hey guys, welcome to Sports Scene Culture Conversations powered by Reebok. My name is Lerai. Sports Scene created this platform for us as the youth to have meaningful conversations about topics that are usually sidelined. Today, we're chatting about female empowerment in the professional world, and I have four amazing and powerful women who are going to share their journey with me. We're going to be chatting about obstacles faced and how they've overcome them. So we have Ms. Lula Mamnisi, who is the brand manager for Sports Scene. We have Usisibongiwe, who is the owner of Joy Media. I have Sonia here, who is a young creative entrepreneur who is making waves. And of course, Kim Jade, who, do I need to give you an introduction?
Yeah, shame around, don't be that guy.
Ladies, I really want us to, in this conversation, we all know what we're talking about today. I want to start off at the beginning with each and every one of you. Bongiwe, I'm looking at you right now. So I'm going to start with you. Please tell us about, first of all, what is Joy Media and how did you start off? Tell me about your working experience from the beginning and compare it to where you are right now.
All right, okay. So Joy Media is a PR and communications company that I started, a brainchild of mine that I started 5 years ago. And it came about basically because of the skills that I'm in terms of PR, in terms of communications, and working as a former journalist, part of my skills as well. I was inspired to start something of my own. I actually realized that in the media field, there is space for young people to grow. There's space for young people to actually create, as opposed to finding a brand and keep on growing a brand that's been existing for years. And for me, I had a personal yearn to say that actually the same thing that someone created eons ago, years ago, and made it to be a success, actually each and every one of us, we have it in us, but most importantly, it has to be something that is born in you, more like a calling to say, per se. So that's how Joy Media came about. And the inspiration to media is because I just wanted to tackle media at large and not limit myself to just saying that I'm into communications or I'm into writing on its own, but because it's such a vast industry, I saw that there's also other tactics such as artist management. I found myself in that. I found myself in media coaching as well. So that's what Joy Media is, and I'm happy about it and looking forward to the growth.
I love how, you're in the media space, but you're not only doing one specific thing in that area, So Lulama, I just want to shift to you. I want to hear your story, You are currently the brand manager of one of South Africa's most influential brands, Sports Scene. Where did it start? Surely you didn't just hop out of uni and now you have this job, Where did it start and how did you reach the point that you're at right now?
So, to your point, I definitely didn't hop into the position. Just a little background from my side. So my journey started, I think about maybe 15, 16 years ago as, I was going to say, as a marketeer, right? And it wasn't my first choice. I really wanted to go into accounting, but something drew me based on how do I actually tell a narrative. And I think it's been part and parcel of the journey that I've actually been, both personally and obviously professionally. I found myself in retail and then subsequently landed in Sports Scene. And how Sports Scene came in, I was on my sabbatical. And I was actually called in by a contact at TFG. Lou, we need help. please come through. And I came in. And initially when I came in at Sports Scene, I just came in to help out. So my love for the brand became something else. And that's what led me to the position.
You yourself, I'm looking at you right now. You are the embodiment of a creative, of an artist. Tell me about what you do and how I know that you have a collaboration with Reebok. How did you end up getting that job? So let's start from the beginning of a young Sonia.
The funniest thing is that I think I started out first as a model, but not, it was here and there doing collabs with people and then going, being signed. And then from there, I think I'm such a person that I can't stick to one thing, and I love doing so many things. And even when I get and I'm shooting, I'm literally telling the photographer how you gotta do it. I'm directing them. I'm like, let's do this, let's do this. Yo, why don't the model wear this? And I'm styling. And I think to a point where my business partner who works with me now, he's like, no, what are you wasting your time with modeling? Girl, come on, it's not fulfilling you. So from there, I just decided, you know what, let me just take control of my own life. Let's, do this brand thing, man. It's not hard. You can basically create your own scene. So from there, I started designing clothes and, which I've never studied. I did not study for it. I just literally picked up a sewing machine and thought process okay, let's go with this, to a point where people would now see my outfits and they're like, Son, you need to post more of this. Son, you need to. And that's even what I show now on Instagram is not enough.
Kim, you started off. Why?
I love how she
You literally turned to look at me even. But you started off as, you have an honors degree in social studies and psychology.
Yeah, in social work, yeah.
Exactly. And now you are on our TV screens. Explain to me how all of that happened. I didn't know that a person that has that degree can end up in a job in the entertainment industry. Tell me about the journey. Let's start off with the base layer of the journey from studying, getting your degree in Stellenbosch, and now being, where you are now, and to coming and opening your production house.
Yeah, wow, it's great. So I'm a proudly Zimbabwean immigrant. I moved here when I was 18. I left my family and my friends and everything I knew. And I went to Stellies, which is Bio-Afrikaans. Guys, wow! I got called to Stellenbosch Medical Campus, and we had a suicide patient. She was attempting suicide. Young black girl, first gen in uni. And I'm sure you can imagine. I mean, I can relate because from my family, I was the first to go to uni. There's all this pressure, and to be a doctor, and she got a scholarship, and the family was in Gauteng, and the first thing they teach you when you're dealing with a suicide case, or attempted suicide case, is that you need to remind them about their loved ones, because then that removes them from this almost selfish moment that they're in. And we got her parents on the phone, everything, and she was like, no, I'm done. She said goodbye, put the scalpel to her throat, started cutting. Security bashed in, she started cutting. And what you need to learn when you're counseling and you're in those situations is that a suicidal patient or client can instantly turn homicidal because they're not in the right state of mind. So you are taught to physically maintain your safety and be aware of the whole situation. Anyway, security. Oh my word.
You had to deal with so many people, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So big ups to you for
on his exam week.
You get a whole
Security comes in. They take the girl, they lock her up in confinement. She gets put in the psych ward. And then that same week I had honors exam. So after that week, I was like, I need a break. I need a gap year. I need to be young and just live for a year. Yeah. And in that time, I started pursuing modeling full time. Also modeling full time in Cape Town. And I loved it. And I left everything and moved to Joburg. I was like, cool, Joburg, this is the city where it happens. There's entertainment, there's TV, lights and camera. And people are like, who are you? We don't know who you are. And no one would represent me, no one would take me in, no one would, and so I was like, yeah, okay, hustle. I started using social media and my PR contacts and get me to this event, I'll post the shit out of this, it'll be amazing. And the talent manager at Viacom at the time, her name is Melanie Chichard. She saw me on Instagram and she was like, who is this hand that's always posting? We don't know who she is. And she called and she's like, we're looking for new talent on MTV Base. It's a 3-minute show. Are you interested? I was like, I'm there. What time? What do I need to wear? What's the vibe? I went and I killed it. I was like, I killed
See,
it.
this is why I love social media so much.
It really is super
'cause, like,
powerful.
Honestly,
It really, really is.
So Sonia, tell me your social media story, because I think you two started your journey, you know, at a time where social media really wasn't that big. I think we had Facebook and LinkedIn, right? That was it. And it was also very much professional, you know. You, both of you, have had your career sort of, you know, culminated and started and grew from social media. So tell me your story. And I heard you, you know, earlier on, you two were talking and there was so much passion that I could just feel bubbling within you. So
I think that sometimes, like, I was asking, it's like, why do you think social media is so important? And I think, like, sometimes maybe it's about, like, the best time was for me to use social media, because I always go back to my dad, you know, when he sees my interviews when I'm, like, on, you know, small things. And I'm like, you know how amazing Instagram is? Like, do you know how amazing these social platforms? You've got, think about it, you've got, like, so many people in the world put in one place for you. Literally, it's like, let's say you have all these drinks and they all put into one place. You've got everyone there to sell your stuff. You know, if I want to sell a t-shirt, I've got people from different countries, from different places, all in one spot for me. And it just makes it so much easier for me. Compared to, like, you know, back then you probably had to, not like that old, but like, like I think about it all the time. Like back then when people used to promote their stuff, they'd probably have to use posters and all these things to promote. That time, like, you put, like, even if you still use Facebook, you can just, like, have a Facebook group and boom, all your people are there, you know. And I think about it and it just, like, I think for me, I just love it so much because that way it just utilizes it and just sets up a business for me so much easier. And it's like, you already, that for me is just so much, you know.
Which I don't dispute. Look, social media is your business. Social media is your money. Social media is your promo. Social media actually is your everything, actually.
Yeah.
And it is the best platform to use, right?
Yeah.
I just feel that you must always know exactly what you're selling, what are your intentions, and what are your goals when you go for exposure using social media.
Which is true.
Which is true. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Which I say is true, but I think the main idea that people get a little bit on the side about is that once you know your niche and your brand, you're always going to stay to your morals. You're always going to, like, push what you're selling. So you're not going to, like, go bypass and start selling something else that's not what your brand is about. You know?
what do you think about what they're speaking about, especially from the perspective of working with young people, you know, in the brand, and how perhaps they manage their gosh, my English just left me, but how young people manage themselves in a professional space in terms of, you know, personal versus professional, and whether or not they are able to maintain that balance?
Ooh, good question. Ooh.
I'm at an advantage as a marketeer that I'm able to see both schools of thought, right? So on the level of, let's say, the individuals, I'm going to say individuals, and I'm not going to put them by age. The individuals that we're working with, they've got amazing confidence, right? Such that it's confidence that you know what you want. You're not afraid to go out and get it because you've got this belief. But as we mentioned, belief can also be misplaced, and it has to be guided and it has to be guarded. And I use that in relation to the fact that when you're saying how do you separate your personal social channels and basically how you put yourself out there. So I think for me, you've got to be able to work with individuals who can help you on your journey.
So Kim, you know, we were chatting off camera and you pointed out Sonia's confidence, you know. I want to talk to you about just how you've navigated, you know, because I think you can relate to what Lulama is speaking. You can relate to both of them, right? Because you've seen you can see the different sides, you know. And tell me about your journey of, because you spoke about how you come from a place of, you know, okay, well, keep yourself to yourself, you know, the old school way of how women are taught to act, even in the professional space, you know. It's not just at home, it's not just that thing. So how have you navigated? Because when I speak to you and just when I hear you speak, you're very confident, you know. It doesn't sound like that version that you narrated to us, you know. So tell me about how you've navigated and sort of gone to that point of self-empowerment and being confident and comfortable with yourself in the professional space, because you've actually gone to the point of becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean, it's very tricky and very challenging, because it really is a journey of understanding and respecting that you can learn from both. Yes. So 100% you need to be confident and vocal at the right time, but also be able to back what you're saying. Because you can be as loud, as vocal and confident as you can, but if you got no skills or anything behind it to back it, what are you making noise for? And then being in that workspace where you see something, I became so aware and so conscious of the fact that men run everything in production. Something as simple as putting a mic in your bust area, that's men. It's men. And very seldom are you on set where there's a lady on set that's like, actually, can I mic you? Because then you feel safe.
There was a time where you weren't the boss, you weren't calling the shots. Tell me about, I know that there's a story before all of that. There has to be some sort of discrimination that you faced in the workspace.
When you're a female in any workspace, there will be a story to tell, actually.
What is yours? What is your story?
There were moments and times where being in a workspace felt unfair as a black girl, as female as well, and as a person who's coming in as an intern, and race issues as well, where inequality was just standard, where you'd find that maybe because of, sometimes it goes into race, where inequality comes that you are a certain race and you are a certain race, which means that you deserve a higher salary because your standard of living has always been higher. And because you come from this standard of living, you know that all you need is just a survival reference. You know what I mean? Yes, a survival kit. So what I'm saying is that issues like that would actually take a confidence, like we're talking about confidence, would actually be elements that could drain an individual's confidence in the workspace, and also put you in a space where you feel that you do not fit in anymore, based on the inequality and the ill treatment that you actually experience, based on whether it is your race, whether it's your age, or gender, basically gender inequality, where because you are male and you are a certain race, you qualify to work for a certain newspaper. And because you are black and probably like to wear some lipstick, you qualify to just be an entertainment writer. For me, it was in those early stages where I saw that there is no room for a girl like me, a woman like me, to grow here, based on the inequalities that were experienced at that time, based on gender or race, where because you're female, you're unable to tackle such, you know, but because you are male, you are able to tackle on such a project. But hey, we are qualified here. We both have the same skills. What that person can do on the right, I can also do on the left.
Sonia, I want to bring you in now.
Like, no, I just want to just quick off and finish what you're saying. What you're saying is so crazy, is because, like, believe it or not, I've never faced any of those issues. I've never faced any issues about my skin or what race I am. I think because it's so much easier having to just be someone that creates content and people like it. That's all that it is. Yeah. There's no thing of I don't work with her because she's this. And I don't want to lie. Maybe sometimes my looks maybe help me a little bit to get into the door, and it just adds on to what Kim says. If my looks help me and that gets me into the door, it's fine. I will go beyond and above and show what else I can do. So what you're saying is so crazy to me, because I honestly have not.
You never experienced being
I've
judged
I've never been
a woman of color,
never,
being younger.
Never ever.
Okay, so
I think also because, dude, I think because it comes back to that sounds I'm I'm stand by it because I've honestly never like experienced it, and I think it's also no. I promise you, I've never had it, and I think because the way I hold myself, I'm confident, but I don't have ego, and I think that's what helps and shows that power. Like I was saying, when I would do shoots, I would honestly like just follow what I feel. I don't just out of nowhere and just start doing things. And I think because I'm so proficient and people can see that, okay, she has something, let's hear what she has to say, and let's see what she has to do, they allow me to do that. And I do it in such a way that I'm not being controlling, but I'm allowing the setting to, you know, work out for the product at the end of the day.
Now things are changing. Women that are now empowered and that do have their own businesses are embracing a more masculine way of behaving in the workplace, and how they treat people, how they dress. Right? Like they have to tone down their femininity. They can't wear bright colors. And no, in order to compete in a man's world. It's not a man's world. It's the world. And we're here, and we're owning our space and our power, and still being confident women, feminine women.
Unfortunately, we have not struck a balance where sometimes the more you present yourself more confident and more able, it's the more these contracts pull away from you as well, because there's still a man that is needed to rope in back again. That's why you have to have conversations as women, that where do we draw the line, and where do we fight for our rights to actually fit in fairly fit in, because now women trade their bodies, some trade their values just to fit the jacket of being able to actually run a business in the same way as a man. So the point is that when do we get acknowledged for who we are, for the abilities that we have, that we are not like in the days of age, deserving to be in the kitchen, deserving to be raising kids, deserving to be housewives and submitting.
Women in these positions, we have a purpose, and we have such a huge power, especially when we embrace our femininity. And you know, we've been speaking about entrepreneurship and, you know, having your own business, but there's a success story, Lulama, with you as well, because you are in a corporate space. You are in a space that is traditionally seen as, you know, we can speak about it as male dominated, where, you know, there's issues in that as well, you know, but I know that you are passionate about purpose, and you are passionate about, you know, all of that, and the fact that, you know, the marketing team at Sportscene is predominantly women. You know, tell me about how that has, how effective that has been in just your work and your productivity, and the true change that you guys as Sportscene are making, but you as well personally.
Guys, to be honest with you, and maybe I'm going to flip it on its head, I choose personally, and this is part of my purpose, I choose not to view myself on the basis that, yes, I'm a woman and this and woman and whatnot. I need to learn from my fellow man, right? And equally so, they need to learn from me. That's part of a collaboration. That's part of creating that purpose. That's part of actually being so true and authentic to what you are trying to achieve. And that's part and parcel of how we do it at Sportscene. So yes, we are a predominantly female-orientated team. That doesn't stop us. It doesn't hinder, it doesn't do anything. We question, we challenge in a clean environment, in a safe environment. You know what I mean? Because we're giving each and every one of us that opportunity to hear. I go back to that point of listening. If you listen, then you are able to drive, you are able to steward what you have in a good way. You know what I mean?
I think as a woman, you really need to nurture the space that you're in. As an entrepreneur or anyone in the professional space, you need to take care of the people around you, because it's all about connection. It's all about, you know, work. You know, when you work with someone, you know, working with a brand or a client, you know, you need to nurture that relationship with them so that you can get more business from them. You know, just looking at it from that perspective. Ladies, we have had such an amazing conversation, and I want more. I want more and more and more out of it. But I think, wow, I have been so inspired, and just each and every one of you have unique experiences, but you are each women that have empowered themselves in their own way. And essentially have ended up empowering other people. So thank you so much for having this conversation with me. You know, I feel so filled up right now. But before we leave, you have businesses, you have personal social medias. Please tell me, where can our audience find you? Where can we, stalk you and chat to you? Ask you for a job at Sports Scene.
I'm gonna get so many CVs now.
Where can I find you, Lulama?
On Instagram, Lulama_Mnisi. I am on Facebook. I don't use my Facebook as much. I was actually speaking about it with colleagues of mine. Predominantly Instagram is my go-to place. _Mnisi, yeah.
On Instagram, only exceptional. Yes. Yes, that's only exceptional. Facebook, Bongiwe Sithole. Yeah. Oh, wow. You have to find me on bongs.sit@gmail.com. Yes. Yes, email straight. Okay.
Sonia?
You can also check me up on Instagram. It's SoniaTona_. I don't mind people sending an email as well, because like nowadays we're like, let's send an email. But it's sonia.npt.tona@gmail.com. Yes.
And Kim?
So personal is @KimJade, KIMJYDE, and my production house is KJ Productions, RSA. Yeah, it's very simple.
Thank you so much for coming. I loved it.
This was so good.
That was episode 3 of Sports Scene Culture Conversations powered by Reebok. We spoke about female empowerment in the professional world. I want to say thank you to Lulama Mnisi, Bongiwe Sithole, Sonia Tona, and Kim Jade for joining me in this conversation. Until next time.